Hello and welcome to the Lyman Wolf podcast. I am your host, Raceland, and I'm joined by my co-host today, Nate. What's going on, bud?
Not much. Just finished playing some games with a couple of friends.
We both love our games on this podcast, that's for sure. And if you can't tell, we are back. We took some time off because some family stuff and, life happened. But we're back. I figured, what better way to come back than start talking about movies? Because we love movies on this podcast, don't we, Nate?
We do. We do enjoy some cinematography.
And what are we discussing on this podcast episode today?
Today we'll be talking about 2022's Bullet Train, an action comedy film directed by David Leitch.
And where can you see that movie at?
It is currently on Netflix.
Now, is this a Netflix original? I don't think it is, right?
No, it came out in theaters. I originally watched it in theaters.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't see it in theaters. I just watched it yesterday.
Yes, I watched it today to refresh myself on it.
Okay.
Because I watched it last year when it came out, so.
And without getting into too much of the movies, did you spend your money? Was it worth it to go see it in theaters?
So if I had spent money to watch it, yes, it would have been worth it.
Oh, okay. Got a free ride.
For me. Yeah, the ticket was bought for me.
Nice. Nothing better than free movie tickets, right?
Yeah. I was already interested in the movie. I like a lot of the actors that are in it.
I gotta say, getting into this movie, I haven't seen a Brad Pitt movie in a long time, and I've forgotten how much I like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he usually does a pretty good job. I like it when he does comical action kind of characters, like he did in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and this just seemed like an even better version of that.
Is that Brad Pitt? Was it?
Yes, him and Angelina Jolie.
I knew it was Angelina Jolie. Man, I guess I haven't seen that movie in like 10 years, man. That's crazy.
It has been a very long time.
Oh, yeah, they got married, didn't they? Didn't Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie get married because of that movie?
I don't know if it was because of that movie, but yes, they did get married. I believe he left his wife at that time, Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was who that was. Dude, I had told you, I have not been on the Brad Pitt scene in a while.
Yeah. I don't really keep too much track of actors going on. So I try to keep them.
You don't care.
Yeah, I don't. They're not people. They're people doing a job.
They're not people.
No, they are. They're people doing a job. They're not anything I look up to or anything. They're just regular folk doing a job, entertaining me. That's it.
But yeah, Brad Pitt did a good job in this movie, I think.
Yes. So real quick, I'm gonna read the wiki. Little info about this.
So you guys can, if you hadn't seen the movie, which, by the way, this is a spoiler podcast. Anytime we do a movie review like this, just expect we're going to be talking about the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, maybe pause the podcast and go watch it and come back, because we're going to talk the crap about this movie.
Yeah. So the quick synopsis of it is probably one of the shortest synopsises I've ever seen.
Oh, no.
5 assassins aboard a swiftly moving bullet train find out that their missions have something in common. That's it. That is the only description that they give for this movie. I mean, it's accurate, but man.
I mean, that really touches a point. One of my bullets on this bullet train. I just realized what I said. One of my talking points was literally that says, this movie is basically a bunch of assassins trying to kill each other on a train.
Yeah.
That's basically what you just said.
So I will say that they're not necessary. They're not right. It's not 5 assassins. It's actually 4 and 1 snatch and grab guy.
Didn't they really say Brad Pitt was a former assassin?
No, actually, he straight up says he does snatch and grab jobs. That's all he's ever really done.
I guess you're right.
And that's the only reason he took on this job, was because it was supposed to be a snatch and grab job. He tries to stay away from killing because, well, now he does it because of his therapist, but he also just is trying really hard to just stay away from death. He does it spectacularly. Not many people die around him.
Yeah. So before we dive into the whole movie and thing, I want to say I do remember when this movie was being shown in theaters. When I saw the trailer, I really wanted to see this movie. I was actually determining to like actually go see it in theaters, and I just never got a chance to. So I was happy to see it on Netflix, so I could give it a shot, and we'll see what I give it at the end. We always give a rating at the end, so let's look forward to that, I guess.
Yeah, so again, let's go ahead and I'll give a little bit more information about this. Reading the wiki, I did not realize this movie was based off of a novel called Maria Beetle.
Really? No idea. No clue.
It's a 2010 novel, and it was the first novel of a trilogy it's a Hitman trilogy.
Interesting.
And it was originally adapted as a Japanese film called Grasshopper.
Really?
Yeah.
Grasshopper does not sound very thrilling.
The main character's code name is Ladybug. So
that's true. That is
maybe
true.
Maybe in that adaptation he was called Grasshopper.
That's funny.
So first off, I'd just like to mention the cast that I really liked in this.
Let's break down the characters real quick.
Yeah, so we have the main character, Ladybug, played by Brad Pitt. And
Ladybug.
He is, like we mentioned, a guy who really is just trying to realign himself in his life. So he's trying to stay away from death, and he just wants to do a snatch and grab job, get back into the swing of his job, which is highly dangerous because he does work for an organization of assassins as well.
Yeah, there's crime and death happening all around him all the time.
Yeah. But he himself is like, I'm just a snatch and grab guy. So then we also have Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Which one was that?
That was Tangerine.
That was him?
Yes.
Why does that name sound so familiar? What else has he been in?
Kick-Ass, Godzilla.
That's him. Really? That's what. Wow, I had no idea that was even him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He looks so different.
I mean, in this one he has shoulder length hair. And that's pretty much it.
Doesn't he? Is this the guy with the Tangerine's the one with the mustache, right?
Yes, he's one of the twins.
Wow, dude, I had no clue that was him. That's crazy.
So then we have Brian Tyree Henry, who plays Lemon, his twin brother.
I gotta say, Lemon's probably my favorite character in the whole movie.
Lemon is good. I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I like them all.
That dude is such a good character.
I would say that Tangerine and Lemon, I liked their interactions the most. They were like real cool. I was really sad. But yeah, I like them a lot. Then we have Joey King, who played Prince.
Which I love Joey King. I've been following Joey King since the movie The Kissing Booth. I know that's a pretty girly movie. I don't care. I like that movie a lot. So yeah, I've been following her career since that movie. And she's a really good actress. I think she's gonna go far in Hollywood.
Yeah, I've seen her in a couple of things. I can't say I've seen anything that I didn't like her in.
Well, I know there's this one movie, I forget what it's called, where she plays like this cancer patient, and it's based on a true story. I for the life of me cannot remember what that movie's called, but like it shows her range on being an actor. She could play, the whole, corny, chick movie or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the proper term is, like The Kissing Booth, where she, it's the Hallmark type movie. Then she can also go for playing this very serious drama movie and then to an action movie like this. Her range is all over the place. It's crazy.
That's good. I don't think I've seen the movie you're talking about.
I can't remember. I'd have to look at it.
I have seen Kissing Booth. And yeah, she's pretty good. I liked her in this. She did a really good job in this.
She did. She played the damsel in distress very well, even though a couple times she just found out.
She played the mastermind.
Yeah, well. She played the whole I'm just an innocent girl. You wouldn't want to hurt me, and then she'll shoot you in the back of the head.
Yeah. So then we have, I'm hoping I said the name right, Hiroyuki Sanada. He plays the Elder.
Is that the
Who-
old man?
Yeah, he plays the old Yakuza
Dude,
member.
I've seen that actor in so many different movies. He is good in almost every role I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, again, have not seen really any of these actors. I have not seen a
Really?
movie I didn't like any that I didn't like.
Oh,
for
I
any
see
of
what you
these
mean.
actors.
I thought you meant you hadn't seen him in anything else. I'm like, that dude's pretty popular. Like, he's a lot of
Yeah,
different
no.
movies.
No, I've seen him in other things. It's all of these actors that are in this. I can't think of a single movie that I have not liked that they're in. But yeah, they're pretty good. This is a pretty star-studded cast. In my
The only
opinion.
actor I didn't really recognize that I haven't seen in something, besides obviously with the whole Taylor Johnson, whatever the hell his name was,
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
because I didn't realize it was him. But the son of the Yakuza, which I'm guessing is the next character you're bringing up, I haven't seen that dude in anything. I don't recognize that guy.
Yes, he is Andrew Koji. And he is like I think I've seen him in maybe one thing. Snake Eyes, the movie.
Snake Eye, is that the G.I. Joe movie?
Yes, he played Storm Shadow. in that
Really? Well, is
So-
Snake Eyes like? Was that a spin-off of G.I. Joe, or is that the G.I. Joe movie?
It was a spin. It was basically a spinoff. It was
Okay, I haven't seen it then.
the origin tale of one of the GI Joes.
Oh, okay, yeah, I never saw that.
And then we have Michael Shannon, who played the White Death.
Yeah,
Um,
that dude. I've seen the guy in so many things.
Yeah, he always does a really good job of playing an antagonist.
Yeah, he's a really good villain.
He always has kind of a menacing aura around him.
Dude,
There-
so real quick, at one point when the Elder got onto the train, I thought he was going to turn out to be the White Death.
Oh yeah,
I really was like, is he the White Death? I maybe he's the White Death.
I mean, no,
Because at
Like,
that point they hadn't shown the White Death's face.
you're right, but they also had already just told you like what the White Death was. The White Death was a guy who came from Russia,
That's true.
and the Elder obviously did not come from Russia.
He could have. You don't know his origin, his heritage.
I mean, I do because they already showed you his origin. He
I know.
was, yeah.
Maybe
it
that
was
happened
very
in Russia.
clear.
Okay.
It was very clear he was not White Death.
Okay, it was just a
Then-
little thing that happened that popped into my brain, Nate.
Then we have Zazie Beetz, who plays the Hornet.
Zazie Beetz. Is she a rapper?
I think she's a musician. I'm not
That's what
sure
I'm
what
thinking.
type of music.
Well, recently a lot of rappers have been getting into acting.
I honestly don't even know if she was an actor or a musician because
I don't know.
I can't think of anything she's been in. I do know she was in Deadpool.
Was she? Who's she in Deadpool?
Domino.
That was Domino? Are you kidding me?
No, she was Domino in Deadpool.
What? I had no clue. I guess because I've only seen that actress as the big, huge afro wearing Domino. I didn't recognize her at all. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure that's the only thing I know her from. But I mean, she knocked out both of them in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
she played
good
great
job.
in Deadpool. Like I said, I had no idea that was her.
So then we have Sandra Bullock, who plays Maria.
Well, I gotta say, was not expecting her to be in this movie.
Yeah, so the entire time I first watched this movie, I heard so for those who don't know, Maria is when you don't see her until like the very end of the film.
Yeah, she's like in the last scene.
All you do is hear her voice. She is Ladybug's handler. She's keeps him calm. She keeps him on the mission. She briefs him. All this stuff. So the entire time in the movie, I kept hearing her voice. I'm like, man, I've heard that voice before. Who is it?
I didn't even piece it together, man.
And then finally, when they showed her, I was like, oh fuck, yeah, it's Sandra Bullock. Like it after
clicked.
that, yeah, after that, like I replayed in my head all the time she would talk, and I'm like, yep, no, that was Sandra Bullock. So yeah, man, I never realized just how soothing of a voice Sandra Bullock had.
Sandra Bullock is a very awesome actress.
She is.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie that I didn't like of hers at all.
Then we have two actors, or then we have Bad Bunny, who I have no clue who.
Bad Bunny's a rapper. I know that. What did she play?
He
Oh.
played the wolf.
That was Bad Bunny?
That is what it says on the IMDb.
How do you spell Bad Bunny?
BAD space BUNNY.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, because I thought Bad Bunny was a female.
No, Bad Bunny. Yeah, no. Yeah, so it says.
It shows how out of touch we are with the rap culture, because I'm almost positive that's a rapper.
I mean, I'm out of touch with music in general.
That's true.
It does say he is a music artist and actor.
Yes, I'm like 99% positive he's like a very famous rapper. Obviously, I don't listen to his music.
Bad Bunny, I liked. First off, I mean, immediately it was like the wolf, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, okay, this guy's cool."
Silver-eyed wolf. Yeah, he's the best character in this movie.
It wasn't the best in my opinion, but I will say, like,
short-lived character in this movie.
yeah, he is just like I will say he is probably the most hyped up character in this movie that immediately let it down.
I would say also the Hornet. Like,
Not
she lasted like a full 5 minutes on the screen.
I mean, yeah, when they showed her, but during the entire movie, she's killing people.
I know,
Like,
but you don't know it's her.
Exactly. She's doing what assassin actually is supposed to do.
That's true. But
She's honestly
the wolf
she's
just
probably
walks in like, I'm gonna fucking kill everybody.
No, he's just like, I'm here to kill this one particular dude, then gets surprised and like, oh, and then accidentally offs himself.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna ask how you felt about his death.
yeah.
He threw the knife. It just bounces off the briefcase and just stabs him, and he's just like, "Oh, my heart," and then
Like,
collapses.
My only thing with the Hornet is, it was an interesting choice to have her say "bitch" every other word.
That's so true. Got real Freddy Krueger vibes over there.
Yeah, she just like, what do you think, bitch? My name's Hornet, bitch. You're gonna die, bitch. Like, oh, okay? Every sentence.
Bitch.
Yeah, like, it was so strange. And then, I will say, like, Ladybug had a point on her death when he's like, you don't have two anti-venoms?
Yeah,
Like,
she got dude, what reflexes he had when she pulled out the anti-venom and he like grabbed her hand and made her put it in his neck. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, what are those reflexes? Holy shit.
like, Ladybug might be a snatch and grab guy, but he's deadly as hell.
What did you think about his whole I'm bad luck follows me whole thing?
So before we get into that, I have two other actors to introduce.
Sorry.
And these two actors didn't really have like a super prominent role, but I know at least one of them you will maybe recognize. The first one is Mazioka. He played the conductor that kept asking for a ticket. I know him from Heroes.
I know him. I've seen him in other things. Yeah.
Yeah, I know him from Heroes, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad he's in this.
A little piece of me thought that maybe he was an assassin.
Right?
I was because he kept like staring at him, like at Brad Pitt. He just kept staring at him, and I'm like,
that's just because he was such a super serious conductor who's watching a guy who did not give him a ticket.
I know, but I was waiting for at the very end him be like, bitch, I was the freaking assassin coming after you the entire time. Like,
yeah.
Turns out he's the White Death.
And then the last one that I recognize anyway is Karen Fukuhara.
I know that name. She's in The Boys, right?
Yes.
Where would she? When did she show up? I know the name for sure.
She was the concession girl that kept going down the halls with the tray of food.
No
gives Brad Pitt the water.
fucking way. Are you serious? That was her?
Yes.
Dude, I did not pay attention to this movie as much as I thought I did. That's crazy.
Now, she's the one who I thought was the Hornet when they first started like talking about the Hornet and everything. Because, I mean, all I know her from is The Boys. And she's a super badass killer fighting character in The Boys. And I'm just expecting her to pull out all these like insane... And again, she's had access to the entire train, so she could have easily poisoned the air and all these other things. So I fully expected her to be the Hornet, but instead the Hornet killed her and took her place. Like, man, that was a good switch for me.
Yeah.
So those are the actors in this movie. On to Ladybug's perception of his luck.
Yeah, that was really weird.
I fully think that this is Brad Pitt's way of making fun of Deadpool 2.
I can see that. Well, remember, Brad Pitt was in Deadpool 2 for that split second of a scene.
Because in Deadpool 2, he dies.
Immediately.
The moment they show his face, he's dead.
Can you imagine being Brad Pitt, getting paid all these millions of dollars to get on the set for probably a total of like 30 minutes just to shoot that scene?
Like, it is hilarious that they were able to get away with that. And there's another reason why I fully believe that he, this was him kind of getting back at Deadpool 2. And that's because the whole reason his Ladybug is on this mission is because he's taking over for another assassin, the actual assassin. He's supposed to be like the world's most cunning assassin or whatever. And that character is played by Ryan Reynolds.
Which I was not expecting at all.
Me neither. So yeah.
He's like, no. I'm not him. He's such a badass. And then it showed Ryan Reynolds. I go, oh, you fucking serious?
Yeah. Oh, and he's not even saying he's such a badass. He's more like he calls himself a badass. Like, oh, I hate that guy. He's such a douchebag. Oh, I hate him. I wish he would just die. Carver's such an asshole. You're right. He's a bitch. And then they show Carver, and it's Ryan Reynolds.
And again, just like Deadpool 2, Ryan Reynolds showed up for a 5-minute scene.
Yeah. Plus, we had Zazie Beetz, who was Domino in Deadpool 2, who had the ability of insane luck. Like, her power was luck, just like Ladybug's is.
Yep. It makes sense. It all ties back to Deadpool. Remember at the end of Deadpool 2, man, he said, I'm going to go have fun with messing with time. What if this is what he did?
Yeah. I fully, the whole movie felt like a fuck you to Deadpool.
Yeah, giant F you to Deadpool.
in a funny way, like a humorous way. But also, like, I don't know, his perception of, like, going with the Deadpool 2 thing, Domino knows about her power luck. She embraces it. She gives into it. She knows nothing can touch her. Whereas Ladybug believes the exact opposite. He thinks he has the worst luck. Everything horrible is going to happen to him. And in ways, he's not wrong. Like, bad stuff happen around him, but it's always helping him through something that would have been way worse. Like remember when what's his name, the wolf, when the very first thing he does is try to stab him in the chest, and he accidentally stabs his phone, saving him, but he's like, oh man, my phone, damn it. Yeah, now he just lost his phone, which was his only way to contact Maria.
But you didn't die, so
yeah. Well, like, the first instance we even get to see of this is while he's talking to Maria on the phone heading to the train. He's telling her, he's like, man, I don't know, like, my bad luck thing is still in effect and all that. And then he, like, steps off sidewalk into a puddle, immediately steps back because it's a deep puddle, and then a car goes straight through the puddle where he would have been standing if he hadn't stepped into that puddle. At
what point did you think he actually had a superpower?
From that point on, like, every scene, like, he has so many lucky incidents where it's like, how are you, like, the wolf dies because he throws the knife, it bounces off the briefcase and goes straight directly into his heart. Like,
and he literally just lifted the briefcase out of instinct of like, oh shit, I'm gonna get hit, and he flinches, and then that's what flings it back at him.
Like, on my phone, I have a kill count of who killed who and everything. And
man, you went deep into this, man.
At first, I was gonna be like, okay, so the wolf died to Ladybug, but I can't say that. He died to himself. Like he's the one who threw the blade. The blade bounced off something else, ricocheted, and hit him. Wouldn't have been any different had it hit a wall and hit him when no one was there. Like, man, it's crazy. So
I got a talking point if you're cool with it.
yeah, go ahead.
So I have in my notes, what the fuck is that guy's obsession with Thomas the Tank Engine?
I mean, so from what I gather, they don't really say.
And that was the weirdest part of the whole goddamn movie.
They don't really say in the movie, they just imply it. Those two either were both orphans, or one of them was adopted, or one of them was a stepchild.
Yeah, because they show at a very brief scene of them as kids sitting on the bed watching Thomas.
Yeah, Lemon is watching Thomas the Tank Engine, and Tangerine is playing with a toy gun. I think he latched on to something that taught him something about life. Like, for me, it was a lot of cartoons and movies that taught me how to judge people. I've even seen, like, not like official essays or anything, but nice little segments on people rating how you're able to judge people based on the Teenage Mutant Turtles. Everybody fits into a slot of one of the turtles.
I don't know, Nate, that's just sounded too much like people that believe in the whole astrology stuff, and that, being a Taurus means this and being a Sagittarius means that.
I mean, that's looking at the stars. This is literally just, you're basing them off of personalities that you can empathize with.
I don't know, sounding a little superstitious.
That has nothing to do with superstition. That is psychology. Knowing someone's personality and being able to understand that personality, which is what that show did for him. All of the characters in that show gave him a basic background to be able to place people in, and by doing that, he's able to know if he can trust them.
Like, what did he do? He put the sticker on the back of Joey King's character, and Diesel. That's right.
Yeah, the asshole of Thomas the Tank Engine characters. And I'm not gonna lie, I know shit about Thomas the Tank Engine.
Dude, I don't even think I watched it as a kid.
I watched it,
and I liked trains as a kid. And I don't even remember watching that.
I watched it as a very small child. I did not watch it very often, but I mainly know it just from memes and stuff.
Yeah, Skyrim. You know it from Skyrim, Nate.
I mean, kind of, yeah. I mainly know it because a YouTuber that I follow does a lot of jokes about how he loves Thomas the Tank Engine.
That's so funny.
And his fan base does so many fan art about him and Thomas the Tank Engine. So yeah, I know shit about Thomas the Tank Engine. So every time he would be like, "Oh yeah, you remind me of this," I'm like, I have no clue who that is. But okay. But yeah, so it's just that he didn't have much when he was growing up as a child. He latched on to something positive in his life and made that the focal point of how he was able to judge people.
Yeah. So let's break it down real quick. So overall, what do you think of the movie? Like give me what did you like and dislike about the movie?
Let's see here. What I liked about the movie was I really enjoyed the action, really enjoyed the humor. It was a great blend. That is some of my favorite types of movies, when you can take one genre and mix it with humor. Because you can take any kind of movie, any type of genre. If you put a good blend of humor in it, I'm probably going to enjoy that movie in some way or form.
I get that.
This did that. Plus, I love a movie that introduces a bunch of characters that are supposed to be specifically legendary type of characters in their own little world, like John Wick does in his universe. So when they did that, and each person, the prince, the heir, Lemon, the wolf, Tangerine, the father, Elder, Maria, the hornet, all of these people are well known within their circles, and I just like seeing that kind of stuff.
Don't lie, Nate. You just want to have a code name like they do, the Silver-Eyed Wolf.
I mean, I kind of already do on a Discord, so I'm good. So,
Anything you disliked?
uh, I mean, I disliked that Tangerine died.
Agreed.
That bummed me out.
Well, I was really bummed when Lemon died because I thought he died, and I'm like, man, because at first he took, he drank the water, which was a sedative, and put him to sleep, and then the bitch, I don't even remember what her name was. What was it?
Prince.
The prince. That's right. She friggin' shot him, and I'm like, then he's fucking dead. God dang it! I didn't want him to die. And then they put his body in the bathroom, and I was like, oh man. Really hope so. I'm like, so it's gonna be the Tangerine trying to get revenge for his brother, and then it did a flip flop, and it was the complete opposite of what I was expecting.
But in the end, Tangerines really did kill the prince.
That's true because Tangerine truck hit her.
Yeah, Lemon stole a Tangerine truck and ran her over.
That's funny.
Yeah, that I would say that is pretty much the only thing I didn't like about this movie. Because I could nitpick it and say I didn't like that when Tangerine meets Ladybug, things could have easily been resolved had he just listened. Like Ladybug gives him numerous chances. Like, you sure you don't want to talk this out? Hey, you want to talk? Hey, please listen to. Like, he gives him so many chances. And
like
Tannerine's
the whole when the cart lady comes in and they had to stop fighting just to be like, oh yeah, we're friends, we're fine.
Yeah, and he even pays for his water, and then he's like, he's taking a drink and he stops and like, are you sure we can't talk about this? He's like, fuck off, and he's like, okay, and throws the bottle in his head. So yeah, that would probably, like, if I had to nitpick, that would be one of my nitpicks, is that first Lemon did that and then Tangerine did that. The three characters I really wanted to, like, be bros, fucking, they would not, sadly.
Even the whole scene where he's like, they haven't seen Lemon's face, so why don't you just pretend to be my brother? And then, like, he immediately fucks it up by spinning the lock, somehow magically hits the combination, and, like, all the clothes fall out.
I will say, like, that is probably one of the only, like, showing of him having a bad luck episode that isn't saving him from something. Everything else you could chalk up to, oh yeah, that's bad luck, but it was for his own good. That was just pure bad luck, sadly. Like,
yeah, that didn't make any sense.
I mean, it makes sense with the ability of bad luck.
I'm the new X-Men on the X-Men team. What's your ability? Bad luck. Oh, get off my team.
Horribly bad luck. One hell of a combo with Domino.
So anything else you want to say about the movie? What's your rating? Let's get to your rating really quick.
I would give this, like,
out of 5.
Either a 3.5 or a 4.
Okay.
Like, it right in between them. Probably I'd go with a 3.5. Because while I did like the movie, again, I'm a nitpicker. I can always nitpick.
I mean, you can nitpick literally any movie.
I do nitpick every movie.
I can nitpick my very favorite movie of all time and still be like, man, they should have did that. That would have made more sense.
Yeah. Like, there were actors that I really liked in the movie that I wish had gotten more screen time, stuff like that. But
Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, yeah, Ryan Reynolds, the heir of the one who got poisoned.
Yeah. So for me, what I like about the movie is that it knew exactly what it was. It was a ridiculous movie that was entertaining. Like, the movie was so over the top, so ridiculous, but it was very fun. They didn't stray away from being to the point. You know how some movies will go over the top and you'd be like, okay, can that really happen? Come on. And They didn't really do that. I mean, it's a movie. You got to suspend belief, like throwing a knife and it immediately sticks in your heart. That's not going to happen. But, you know, the one nitpicky I can think of is that, for me personally, I felt like it took a little bit to get going. Like, the intro was a little long. It took a little bit to get on the train because they had a whole bunch of backstory to you know, all the characters had to be introduced and all that stuff.
I feel the exact opposite because while it did, like, it did take a little bit long for him to get on the train. That is in no way saying that it was slow, because while it did take some time to introduce characters, they made sure that introduction of said characters was humorous and action-packed bit. So, like, while they did take time to introduce it, it was not a slow introduction. It was, like, fast-paced. I honestly was, like, I often forget that this movie is, like, a 2-hour long movie or something.
Yeah, I was surprised it was a 2-hour movie.
Because it just does not feel like it's that long.
Now, before I give my rating, I forgot I wanted to do this, but I completely forgot before you gave your rating. I want to break down a little subcategories. Nate, who is your favorite character? If you have to pick one, who's your favorite?
I mean, I'd probably go with Ladybug simply because his, like, beliefs are a lot closer to what I would want. Like, come on, guys, do we have to fight and kill each other? Can't we all just kind of, like, get along?
And he even has, like, meditation. He's like,
yeah.
All right, I have to keep breathing in order to have positive vibes and stuff.
He's constantly trying to even befriend his enemies, which is
like
something
at the end,
I really like.
Like at the end with Lemon, he's like, "Oh man, I feel like we're connected." He's like, "You're right. May have lost a brother, but I gained a new one." Really? No, fuck you, man.
And then tackles a guy out of the train. Like, Lemon was a good character.
Lemon is my favorite character for sure.
I would probably, coolness factor, I'd probably say the Elder is my favorite.
Dude, he was getting some. That fight scene with the Elder, he was fucking them all up, man.
I mean, his sword was cutting through metal. Like,
yeah, it didn't make it. Remember what he said earlier about suspending belief?
Yeah, like, okay.
What is this sword, a lightsaber?
It was cool as hell, but damn. And there is, like, one specific scene I can remember, because this is something that me and my family like to do, is, like, we'll see, like, scene bloopers, stuff like that. During that fight scene, when he sheaths his blade, the blade itself is completely covered in blood. And then a moment later, when he faces the White Death and unsheaths his blade in a slow, dramatic way, and then, like, gets ready to fight,
no blood.
The blade's completely clean. There's not a drop of blood whatsoever on it.
You didn't know the sheath stores all the blood in a little syringe at the bottom. You didn't know about that?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. This guy has a cool cane blade. Like, it's cool.
So, who would you say is the worst character? And what I mean by worst is not bad, but like, oh, fuck that guy. Like, you just like Prince? Yeah, that's who I pick. Fuck that bitch. Yeah, she sucks.
She, like, oh my gosh,
she made a comment saying like, oh yeah, I pushed your boy off of a roof so I could get you on this train. Yeah. Who does that, man? What the hell?
Like, I will say, equally, really, Prince and White Death, fuck both of them. Because both of them, she involves the Elder and the Son into this fight simply because she wants her father's
and the dad.
approval. That's what I meant by the son.
Oh, okay.
The Elder and the Son. Because the grandson, like, he's only in it for, like, a few scenes, and that's it.
In the hospital bed.
Yeah. He's just a hostage. He has no real momentum in the story.
Right.
She involves the Elder and the Son in this simply because she wants the White Death's attention.
And it's her father the whole time.
Yeah, she wants to prove to her father that she's the one that should have been in his plans, not her brother, the heir. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention who played the heir. Logan Lerman.
I don't know who that is.
He played in Fury and, I believe, Percy Jackson.
Who is he in Percy Jackson?
He's Percy Jackson.
That's Percy Jackson?
Yes, that was Percy Jackson. No, you really did not know these guys.
No,
Well, I will say, like, he does not look anything.
Well, he was a
like-
kid when we played Percy Jackson.
I mean, he was a teenager.
So
He looks like
Nate. We're in our 30s. That means he was a kid.
yes, but I'm saying like looks wise, he hasn't changed much. In the movie, he has like a facial hair, long hair, and then blood coming out of his eyes. Like I understand why you didn't recognize him.
And Nate and Percy Jackson, he didn't have facial hair.
You're right, but without his facial hair, he looks pretty much like he did in Percy Jackson. He's in other shows, Raislin.
Anyway,
He's in a TV series called The Hunters that does not have facial hair in some of the episodes.
Must not be
But
an
anyway, that makes
I'm just kidding.
adults don't all have to have facial hair, Raislin.
That's fine. I'm kidding.
And a lot of adults somehow look young.
So let's get to my rating. Since we've talked about who we liked, who we hated,
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you. I would give this about a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Like I said, the movie was a ridiculously over-the-top killing movie, but it was fun. I mean, I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't also love the movie. It was just pretty down the middle.
I figured with like all of the back and forth in this movie, like because it was a very fast-paced movie. There was no except for maybe the intro, according to you anyway. There was no real like slow moments in the movie. It was always, okay, this happened. Now let's move on to this happening. Now let's move on to this happening. Now let's move on to this happening. I figured that would appeal to you a bit more.
Yeah. I know. Let's just say, if I had gone to see it in theaters, I would have not been disappointed with my spending the money for the tickets, but I would have been disappointed because it's not one of those movies like, oh man, I really hope we get more of this. I don't feel like I want more of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want more of this. So this is the kind of movie that makes me want them to have a comic book thing going on.
I can see that.
And each comic book issue, because it doesn't even have to be like a long-running series, but each issue focusing on one of the characters it introduces.
Also
because
can see that.
again, all of the characters they introduce are pretty fascinating. They all are very specialty kind of characters. And I would have really liked to see a little bit more of Tangerine and Lemon. I really would have liked to see how they went from being orphans to contract killers and hitmen.
Agreed. I can see that.
But yeah, that's what this movie does for me. Is it just makes me want more, but in a comic book setting.
Now, we don't need a sequel.
No, the movie itself, I wouldn't mind a sequel, but it's not something I'm like, okay, now you need to start making a sequel. If they ever made a sequel that's like, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, we've got to watch this, Raisin. We got to mark.
I already ordered our tickets.
Yeah, we got to mark the date for this. I'll be like, oh, that's cool.
I might check it out when it hit. Yeah, I might check it out when it hits Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. But it had the humor, it had the action. I love the tone. I love movies that can take a singular setting and just make that the length of their film.
All right. Well, I guess that's gonna do it for the episode. Unless you got anything else to say, Nate.
So I would actually like, because I did take the time to make a list of all of the deaths and who killed who.
Make it quick, Nate. Make it quick.
Okay, so Ladybug survives. The Prince dies by Lemon and a tangerine truck. The Heir dies by the Hornet, the White Death ultimately gets killed by the Prince. So the Prince ultimately did achieve her goal.
Yeah. Which was a crazy death, by the way, when the thing shot half of his face off.
First off, excluding Ladybug and his insane luck, how the hell did the Elder, the Sun, and the White Death survive?
I don't know.
That train wreck,
took out an entire village.
Yeah, it went off of a mountain, landed on a village, kept going. No one should have survived.
Movie
that
logic.
except
Movie logic.
The lady, like even Ladybug had like you see him going through the cars of the train as it's falling, and like all these things are missing him except for like things that would like break something. Like I think metal coffee pot hits his face. But then like he sees the mascot, some cartoon mascot costume, and he uses that as cushioning. Like
that's all you need, man.
Yeah, movie logic. Okay.
It's kind of like Nate. It's kind of like how anime. You just put your arms in a cross, and then you're completely blocked from like earth-shattering attacks.
Exactly. I get that for him. They have set a precedent that he has just insane luck when it comes to surviving stuff. But the Elder, the Sun, and White Death do not. Like that is insane to me. But yeah, his White Death's, oh my gosh, his death was epic.
It was
and also
epic.
Hilarious because he even like, I guess during the train wreck he like fucked up his tongue or something because he couldn't talk right. And he's like, "You're not Carver? I heard Carver." Like, and he's like, "No, man, I'm not Carver. He had a stomach thing." Like, man, poor White Death. And then he's just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna kill somebody."
Poor White Death.
Yeah, man, fuck it, I'm gonna kill somebody though, and then dies. So then we have the wolf who killed the wolf, Lemon who survives, Tangerine who gets killed by Ladybug. The father survives, the son survives, Maria survives, the hornet gets killed by Ladybug, and then the boomslang snake survives.
Oh, it did survive, didn't it?
Yeah, it just like slithers again. How the hell that animal survived that train wreck? Whatever.
After being beaten to death and thrown into a toilet.
Yeah, beaten to death, beaten, drowned, in a burning wreckage. Gravity, like that's an immortal poisonous snake right there. And also, hornet, like that. I will say the name, the hornet, is very misleading because she uses a snake's venom to kill her opponents, not a hornet's or anything. And she doesn't like usually stab them either with a needle. She usually just sprays the poison onto whatever they're eating.
She should be called Venom.
Yeah, like I fully expected her to be called the Viper or something snake-like.
Yeah, that's a better name.
But the Hornet, it's a very misleading name for how she takes out her opponents.
It's true. That is very true.
But yeah, so that is it. I gave it a 3.5.
Same, 3.5.
It had a budget of $85.9 to $90 million.
How much did it make?
It made $239.3.
That is a success.
Yes, it was definitely considered a success. And yeah, I don't blame it. It was, in my opinion, a very good movie.
I mean, if it was a very good movie, wouldn't it be higher than 3.5?
No, I have very high standards when it comes to these.
All right, well, I guess that's gonna do it for the episode. Nate, I'm kind of glad to be back. I did miss doing the podcast with you. It gave us some time to talk about things we liked. I don't know about you. Yeah. You glad we're back?
Sure.
And I'm hoping
I'm always glad to do these.
And I'm hoping you listeners are out there are enjoying this and want us to keep going, because as long as you guys listen, we'll keep making more. I don't think it'll be every week because it's a little hard with life right now. We were doing every week, but we're going to make it as when we can, basically. So bear with us if it's a couple weeks or something like that. But other than that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.